All right, we are live and welcome everybody to the 21st episode of Pontiac Power Hour. As you can tell, I'm missing my co-host. He is stranded somewhere in an airport. He thought he might be able to swing in and get some internet and hopefully join us, but I'm going to go ahead and push forward without him for a little bit, and if he pops in, awesome. So tonight, we don't have a special guest. We're going back to the roots of Pontiac Power Hour, and we're going to talk about a little bit of Pontiac history. So with that, we're going to jump over into the chat and just welcome everybody in. I got to scroll quite a bit, so thank you guys for jumping in and commenting. Yeah, I had to scroll quite a bit. All right, so obviously I didn't catch everybody because a lot of you guys showed up before the show. And if you haven't worked with StreamYard knocks off those first however many comments and basically picks it up right before the show. But with that, I got Danny Boyd in the chat. Of course, Hunter with Sand Mountain Ballistics is always here. I got Jeffro from Two Hacks Garage, Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage, and he says, who's traveling? Ain't got no time for vacation. So technically, it's not vacation if you're dropping off your project engine to Ed's machine to have it worked over for No Name Nationals. So technically, yes, I did side trip on the way home, but I came down for a purpose. Arkansas is a little bit of a drive for me, and so I'm here doing no name work. That's how we're gonna sell that one. All right, who else we got? You got ASO in the chat. Keep scrolling. Chucky's Garage, who's going to be on a future episode. In fact, we're going to go ahead and recruit some of you guys, the future no-name freshmen or current no-name freshmen of the No Name 500. We're going to get you on our show and have you guys talk about who you are and what you're bringing and just maybe even get you a few subs, which would be awesome. We got Colleen Tebow, Mohawk 62. Keep scrolling. Mr. Polo C4. I already told him if his dad doesn't show up, he's going to have to jump in. Let's see here. Alan's Cars and Stuff. Tim Windsor, as always. And he's going to tell you to hit that thumbs up. And we do appreciate you guys hitting the thumbs up, sharing this out to people. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe and notification bell so you won't miss our shows. Even though it's every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central, we don't want you to miss one. There it is. Tim Windsor, always representing. We appreciate him. All right, Jason's Garage in the house. If I miss anybody, keep throwing your stuff in the chat, guys. I promise I will get to you. Wendy English is here. So somewhere there's a one-eyed cat. Let's find him in here. Oh, Cousin Mike is here for Landom Custom Classics. We appreciate him. Halfwit Labs, he's got some cool stuff going on. You might want to check him out. We got Dakota from Dakota's Time Out or Time In or whichever channel he's using that day. And the one and only Ed from Ed's Machine. Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Punisher. Ray, how are you, buddy?
What's up, buddy?
It looks like you're moving. I guess you're moving that way. No, this way, that way. Yeah. Where are you
Sorry,
at?
guys. I'm at the airport in Dallas. So, coming to you live from the Dallas airport.
Hey, that works.
I currently missed my flight. So, I'm trying to find my next flight. And it's been a little bit hectic.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Anyway, give me like 10 minutes. Chat, give me like 10 minutes, and I'll be back.
All right, guys, we're going to give him a few minutes to find his gate. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep rolling through this chat. I saw Scarlett, the four-eyed Cuda, pop in here. And I'm just trying to get everybody because we are it's kind of important right now at the beginning of the No Name Nationals and the No Name 500 to make sure we're catching everybody as they are available to us. And, if you're going in the chat, throw your name in there. If I've got a mod in here that wants to go ahead and put your link, I'm good with that. That's part of what we're doing for No Name, making sure everybody gets a little representation. All right. I think I've got everybody. Oh, I saw the one-eyed cat. I knew he was around. and the one and only Ugly Truck Experience. If you guys need an LS swap, these are the guys you want to watch their channel. We know we don't like LS swaps, right, Hunter? But if you want to know a little bit of something, these guys have some good knowledge. If they don't know, they know who to tell you to talk to. And that's what they did for me, and I appreciated that. All right, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. There he is. Dudes with Wrenches is in the house. All right, guys, don't let me miss you. You guys are filling up the chat faster than I can scroll. I appreciate that. All right. So as I catch up, or as you guys keep putting stuff in the chat, I'll try to catch up. And when Ray's available, we're going to pop him in here too. He's fully versed on what the show's about tonight, but I think he's probably a little stressed with trying to find his gate. They moved his gate earlier. He missed his flight, and that now he's at an airport instead of at home helping me with the show. But you know what? We do this as a team, and that's what we're here for. He backs me up when I can't. Look at that. Scarlet Four-Eyed Coot is currently sitting at 31 subs. Good job. I mean, when you hit that 100 mark, it's just gonna keep going. Oh, look at that. So yeah, you talk to Ray. We'll make sure that you know well ahead of time. We'll try not to tell you 30 minutes before. All right, guys. So tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of Pontiac history, just because that's who we are at Pontiac Power Hour. Yes, I know I have an LS in my Pontiac. We're working on that. Got to get some funds available to swap that out. But in the meantime, let's talk about the straight eights. Now, for you guys that are real die-hard Pontiac fans, who would you be if you didn't know about the straight eights? What do we got here? More chats, guys. We are not doing a Mopar Power Hour. We might, on April Fool's, just do an entire one on concept vehicles, but only ones with, non-Pontiac powered engines. That would probably go over really well. We still have an entire episode on the Pontiac Aztec coming, so don't you worry, that's coming too. And honestly, we did the Holden Sour Hour just for Hunter, and yeah, we got to learn about some factory LS vehicles that were Pontiac, Holden, Pontiac, and yeah, see, Hunter's he's saying nope. All right, Dudes with Wrenches has got some Buick straight eight info, and quite honestly, they are a little bit easier to build now than the Pontiac, but we're going to learn all about the Pontiac tonight. What's Danny Boyd say? Buddy bought a 55 Chevy sedan delivery, late 60s, and it had a 389 poncho. That thing's going to have some torque. Nothing wrong with that. All right, let's get back to that. Talking about the straight eights. So basically, when Pontiac came around in 1926, in that time frame, you were looking at that whole Oakland Pontiac time frame. They were actually launched as the Chief of the Sixes in 1926. So in that mindset, they were six-cylinder vehicles. The Pontiac sold really well, and the popularity of Oakland started to decline. So the company just dropped the Oakland altogether, which of course had a V8 at the time. And so instead they offered a Pontiac flathead V8. It used this basic engine from Oakland, and it had some detail changes, but basically the straight eight replaced the early V8. And this type of engine, survived at Pontiac for quite a while. In fact, I believe the span was 1933 to 1954. All your Pontiacs had a straight eight engine, inline 8-cylinder engine. It was introduced the fall of 1932 for all the 33 vehicles. It was the most powerful engine by Pontiac at the time, and the least expensive 8-cylinder engine built by an American automotive manufacturer. And during its 21-year run, the displacement of the 8 increased twice as platforms grew, It was superseded by the Pontiac's new V8, the 287, which we know then grew and grew and grew. And by 1955, it kind of, the 287 took over. They say that engine block and cylinder heads were cast at the Saginaw Metal Casting Operation and then assembled at Tonawanda Engine before delivery to Pontiac Assembly for installation. So, that's quite the little history on an engine that ran quite a long time in these vehicles. Like, that is a crazy amount of time to run basically one singular platform. It's kind of like the old Ford adage, you can get it in any color as long as it's black. Well, Pontiac said you can get anything you want as long as it's a straight 8, because that's what they're putting in it. So Scarlett, Four-Eyed Cuda, asks, is Pontiac straight 8 its own thing or derivative? As I read, while it was definitely took some cues off of other engines, the Pontiac straight 8 was designed and built in-house. So inline motors, as we know, are making a comeback, especially in the hot rod and rat rod scene. There's nothing wrong with keeping your original straight 8 in the car. But what happened, especially in the 80s and 90s, is everybody would get these old body cars. They'd yank that straight cylinder or straight 8-cylinder, 6-cylinder, whatever is in the car. They'd yank it out, throw in a small block Chevy or some derivative, and next thing you know, they got themselves a hot rod. But with the oddball stuff coming back, and people like us, we like to see that, you're starting to see some of these engines come back. And definitely the Buick has a lot more aftermarket support than the Pontiac, but there are still folks out there that can help you rebuild these Pontiac straight 8s. So don't sell them too short. Halfwit Labs had a straight 6 in a 79 280ZX, and that thing was peppy. Of course, the car doesn't weigh anything, but it's amazing how much just a little bit of horsepower in a small chassis will get a car moving. There's Hunter again. He's had a Chieftain. His dad had a Chieftain with a straight 8. So that's awesome. All right. So this Pontiac L-head straight 8, it was used in production cars for 21 years. Talked about that from 1933 to 1944. Now, this engine was actually advertised by Pontiac as a power plant that could run 100,000 miles without a major overhaul. Nowadays, we kind of expect an engine to run 100, 200. We've seen, 500,000 miles out of cars with not a lot. I mean, you don't have to tear them down and rebuild them. They're probably pretty shot, but I've seen a, Chevy Silverado with over 1 million miles on it. So original engine, probably not the original transmission, but original engine. So just know that they're out there, and you can still find them today. So just to clear this up, not all of these straight 8s are the exact same. It is based upon the same idea, the same platform, the same engineering. But the original 1933, I apologize, the 1933 version was 223.4 cubic inches. It produced 77 whopping horsepower. That was a screamer, especially back in the day. Big, heavy steel cars. So the displacement stayed unchanged in 34, but the horsepower then jumped up to 84 horsepower. And those specs were retained through 35, and in 36, the numbers were jumped up to 232.3 cubic inches and 80 horsepower. Oh my goodness, who's this?
Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late. I was running through the airport.
You doing the OJ, running through and jumping over everything?
When I say running, I mean I was running.
Yeah, but you found your gate. All right. Well, we're going to continue
No,
on.
you know how they have those walkways that are like it's like a catwalk, but like a escalator, but it's flat. I was running on that, passing people. And
Oh, right. The people mover. Yeah.
I did all that to miss my flight the first time, and then now my flight don't leave till 10:45, so I'm stuck in Texas.
Well, hopefully we can entertain you until then.
So I'm live from the Dallas Fort Worth airport.
Perfect. And guys, he's got a little bit of a delay on his end, but we're going to still work through it. So hang in
All right.
there.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's all good. Oh, look at that. Busted Radial Garage in the house. Welcome. All right. Where were we? Let's get this little guy up. So, talking about the straight eights, they aren't all the same. We talked about how each year they kind of got a little bit, not every single year, but every few years they got a little bit more cubic inch. They got a little bit more horsepower, and they just kept progressing up along the way until they finally get to the point that they're like, all right, we're done. We're going to switch over and throw in this V8. Just people wanted the V8, so they went for it. It's definitely part of the history that's what naturally had to happen. But in the meantime, they were trying to get as much power they could out of these straight eights. Who else did we
From what I read, though, a lot of people was upset about going to the V8 because of the cost to produce and the reliability of the straight eight.
It truly was a reliable engine. People liked them because they had a lot of torque. You could actually pull a trailer with your car, and not every engine out there could do that with the low horsepower and torque ratings. So they definitely didn't want to see it go, but they felt the pressure to push into this V8 world.
Right. I would actually like to play with one if somebody had one. I'd like to play with it just to see. I've never actually seen one in person.
Well, we'll just put it out to the chat. If you guys have a Pontiac straight eight from 1933 to what was that, 52? I want to get it right before I say it wrong, because I just said it. Now my brain froze. 21 years, so 54.
Yeah, I'd say it's 54 because 55 was the first year of the V8.
Yep, you're right. So yeah, if anyone has one of these straight eights they want to let us play with, the best place is to bring it to No Name Nationals. But if you're in the Midwest, I'm in Kansas. You got Ray over here in Texas right now, but in Missouri usually. We got lots of people that can jump in and help play with this thing and see what it'll do. If it's not too heavy, I could put it in my MG, but I'm pretty sure it'd weigh it down.
They didn't have very much compression, so turbo? I don't know. I mean, a turbo straight eight would be kind of
really big turbo. I tell you what, here's what we need to do. We need to get that, 53, 54 year big cubic inch, biggest horsepower, straight eight we can find, put it in like a C10 truck or something with a giant turbo on it. I just think that would be killer. And people will go, what in the world is that?
The problem is that's why all them old Pontiacs and Buicks and stuff had such a long hood, was because to package a straight eight, and they was not small.
Right. You're putting a lot of engine in a little bitty space.
Did you cut out or did I?
Oh, it might be me. Let's look. Oh, looked like you. Just for a second.
Are you still there, Buff? Am I still here?
I still see you. Yep, I still see you. Let's see. We got that Fiero guy in the chat. Got Frank McCart in the F100. Welcome, guys. All right, just to catch everybody up, we got Ray hopping from gate to gate in Dallas Fort Worth Airport. We are learning all about the Pontiac Straight 8. So we'll wait for Ray to come back. All right. So where were we? All right. So we talked about just the different variations over the years of the Straight 8. As far as 1950, that Straight 8 was still bored out again to 268.4 cubes and basically stayed from then on. And that bumped your horsepower up to 108 with a standard, manual, and 113 horsepower with a hydromatic in 51. And then, that was in 50. And then by 51, your horsepower jumped 116 to 120. And then they added a little bit more horsepower from 52 to 53. And in 1954, the synchro mesh engine rating was 122 whopping horsepower. And if you got the high head version, it was advertised at 127 horsepower. I mean, if you think about some of the choked out engines we had in the 80s, that's not far from it. And Ray is back.
Yeah, sorry, I wigged out, I guess.
Yeah, I've got sketchy internet. I'm in a tree house, and it's an actual tree in the room here, and they don't have a lot of Wi-Fi at the top of a tree. Justin Van Tilburg, welcome to the chat. We appreciate you dropping in. We're talking about Pontiac Straight 8. All right, where were we? We were talking about that last year, the synchro mesh engine rated at 127 horsepower right before that maximum, or right before that V8 arrived. That was the most they got to. Dr. Arts, welcome, buddy. We appreciate you jumping in. All right, so with that, you want to think about, yes, it took up a lot of room to put these things underneath the hood. So a lot of these cars had, really large engine compartments. But with all the cylinder layouts, without a balanced shaft, a straight 8 design was actually pretty low in vibration. So you didn't get a lot of that going on with the vehicle. You got the side valve layout and all the moving parts contained within the valve train, within the cast iron block, and it was fairly quiet. So you got a very low vibration, low noise, high torque engine out of these straight 8s. Now, combined with the exhaust manifold and effective intake and exhaust muffling, these Pontiacs were just quietly purring around town, where some of their counterparts were making a little bit more noise. Now, I like the extra noise, but not everybody does. And when you're trying to, be high society in your Pontiac, it's important that you can do so quietly. So really, if you had at this time in the world a vehicle that was quiet, vibration free, it wasn't an electric car, it was considered to be a very high quality automobile at that time. So what they're trying to get at is they were trying to make these cars the best quality, the quietest, most torque and power, so you could actually use it for more than just going down into the grocery store or the general store or whatever you had to go to. You see all your chats there, Ray? Danny Boyd, I probably red lines at 4,400. I have no idea, but you're probably right. But it's got some torque for sure. Nathan says we got to put some dual carbs on it. That's probably true.
How about 8.1s? That'd be pretty legit.
Yeah. I mean, I like the 3.2s. That's pretty cool. I think, 4.2s or 8.1s. All good ideas. We need to come up with that and build one.
So if anybody has a straight 8 laying around that they're not using, holler at me. I may be interested in it.
All right, guys. Ray is hunting for a straight 8. Let's see if we can help him out.
I think it'd be a pretty cool build.
Danny Boyd, I think I can answer that question. Let me find it. So, yeah, here we go. So in 1948, the stick shift engine had 103 horsepower, but a high head, meaning short for high compression and meaning 7.5 to 1 compression instead of their normal 6.5 to 1 compression. And then the engine used with the automatic transmission had 106 horsepower rating. So, yeah, they had the low compressions. So Danny Boyd nailed it.
So, if a guy was to figure out a head to make compression, and with today's fuels and technology, I'm just saying, I think that straight eight could be a beast.
If we got the car that could support the engine weight, I think we could do some pretty cool stuff to it. I think we're on to something.
I'm just saying that Grand Prix is big enough for a straight eight.
You guys want to see one of these old straight eights in my 63? I'm not opposed to doing anything. You guys know me. I'll throw anything. I'll throw what was it? The guy that put the lawnmower carb on his car, Thunderhead 289. Yeah, I will go one step further and I'll put a Predator lawnmower engine in my car. Let's just go that route.
I've actually seen that done, and with a manual transmission. It was in like I think it was a Toyota Corolla or something, one of the old rear-wheel drive ones, and it was like the 10-horse Predator motor, and the car went 50 miles an hour. It was pretty crazy.
72 Grand Prix might fit one too. Well, if somebody's got a 72 Grand Prix, we'll put it next to my 63 and we'll throw I8s in both of them and see how it goes. Dr. Art, I believe I probably did. However, I'm on a little bit of a vacation, I guess. I'm just kind of meandering my way home from seeing Ed at Ed's Machine. So I will get back to everybody's email as soon as I get home. I apologize. Oh, look at that. I like Ed's idea. Kubota tractor engine. I could see that working.
Like a 3-cylinder diesel?
Yeah, let's do that.
The Samurai guys use those. They'll put that 3-cylinder Kubota in their Samurai rock rollers, and they do really well.
That sounds like a good idea. We should probably try that. I think it would work good in my MG that I've got, but I can make the MG run as it is. I just have to afford tires. Those tires are expensive.
I'm just going to say that, 5-horse Briggs & Stratton is about the same horsepower as that MG came with.
Probably. All right, so let's go back to this straight eight here. We could sit and talk about all the different transmission offerings, the different carburetor offerings. We just don't have a full amount of time to go through every single piece of how this straight eight was refined over the time frame. We're talking 20-some years. So what I can say is they offered a lot of different options, all of which gave more horsepower and honestly quiet operation for the car. So that was the main idea, right? Give you more horsepower, make it run more efficient, and of course, it's quiet. So we were just talking about this, the hot rodding world nabbed one of these up because everybody was just throwing them away, turning them into boat anchors or whatever. They're just getting rid of them. And I think there's probably a few out there we could probably save still. So again, you guys got one, hit up myself at buffsgarage@gmail.com or hit up Ray and let him know that you've got what we need. We need to have one of these to play with. And I don't want to pay a lot for it. So if it was a boat anchor before, its value is still boat anchor to me. But if we can make it run, we could put it in something. I think the key to all this was they were 100,000 mile engines, supposedly. I mean, that's just an amazing stat.
Justin,
Look at that.
yeah, it should be a lot of torque. They made a lot of torque anyway, but I think with modern fuels and some cool components, you could make a crap ton of torque out of that thing.
Yep, put that to the ground and then rev it to the moon and see what happens. We got Barrows in the house, Barrows garage in the house. I guess he's probably in the garage. I don't know. Where you at, Barrows?
Barrows probably remembers when those things came out.
Oh, he probably helped chisel the first one out of, block there. He's not been that far, but he is a Pontiac lover. He does like Pontiacs.
It wouldn't surprise me if Barrows had one laying around.
All right, well, let's pitch it to him. Hey, Barrows, you got a Pontiac straight 8 laying around? All right. Oh, look at this. There's Barrows right there talking about 1940. So guess what he's got? Guess what he's got? Exactly what we need. Do I really want to go to Idaho? Not this time of year. But I think we need it is, but I think we need to make a trip and pick up a straight 8.
Sounds like it to me.
Now this I did not look up, so I don't have your answer, Frank, but I'll look it up and try to get back to you. Scarlet Four-Eyed Cuda says straight 8 engine flathead and transmission, $2,200. Oh my gosh. That's more than like half of my fleet of cars. So yeah.
Well, one of your cars is free though.
So here's the thing. I appreciate everyone that sends me links to cars. I really, really want to reiterate that I am on a very, very, very low budget, as in very low budget. And I did have my latest project given to me for free. And I could barely afford to even pick it up, even though it was free. So what I'll say is if you guys have something out there, bring it to our attention. I want to make sure it gets into the hands of somebody that'll do something with it. But in that same mindset, please don't get offended if I don't jump on it, because again, my budget is that. I do have a no-name build that I'm saving for, that I'm trying to get done. It's going to be all engine. I'll just be honest. This car is going to be thrown together, hacked up garbage, but all the money I'm saving for it is going right into the engine. What? Barrow said it was straight 6. How can that be? I thought they all had straight 8s.
I did too.
Somebody did a swap.
And not a good one.
Chucky's Garage, you missed out, buddy. We were talking all about you. No, just kidding. You're just missing the straight 8 talk, bud. Oh, yes, Fiero. So that Fiero guy likes to send me Fiero links. I think it's awesome. I'll be honest, I owned one. I love those cars. Keep sending me links. Just don't be offended if I don't buy one. Again, my budget's 0.
I think he wants me to buy one so I can get rid of one of the motors that's in his garage, his mom's garage.
Well, if he wants to just put it at my house, I'll store it for him. All right, so we talked about some of the advantages of these straight 8s, the horsepower, the torque, the quietness, the vibration. But now we're talking about a little bit of the disadvantage. Obviously, it's a big, heavy engine block than its V configuration counterpart. It requires more materials for the crank and the crankcase. Overall vehicle weight increases. So if you've got a heavy car already and then you add that to it, it's just a lot. So that long crankshaft tends to exhibit more vibration under high power, while side valve flatheads inhibit smooth intake exhaust gas flow, and that kind of limits the power. So you're trading off a little bit of the quietness for power, the less vibration for, keeping it under the RPM a little bit. None of these were disadvantages until the horsepower race in the 50s. And then that's just when the overhead valve V8 took off. I mean, you were playing the game or you weren't. So Pontiac jumped in with their, their first offering of a V8. Now, of course, Oakland had a V8, but with Oakland gone, Pontiac took Oakland's straight 8 and just modified it and made it their own. So that was kind of the big thing is, people are like, well, they didn't even have a V8. Well, they did, kind of. It was, they offered one in 32, but it was an Oakland-based design. And the straight 8 was a new pin design that they ran with. All right. So it was a 5-main bearing, crankshaft, modern insert type bushings, full pressure lube, deep skirted block, extra rigidity, and the standard L-head valve arrangement. Special ribbed combustion chamber developed by GM Research, known as GMR cylinder head. It was original in the 1933 form. The inline 8 had a bore and stroke of 3.188 inches by 3.5 inches, yielding 223.4 cubic inches, and rated at 77 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. They were not high revving engines by any means.
Isn't that crazy to think that huge of a motor is only 200 and some cubic inches? I mean, those pistons got to be the size of a Pepsi can. Yeah, Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans, I think we did lose Buff. Buff is actually on vacation, and he's trying to do his live from a treehouse, I think. So,
Hey, I'm back. I got 2 phones that I'm hooked to for internet, and I lost one of them.
Are you still in the treehouse, or?
Yeah, this is a tree, right? Let me move my arm. There, that's a tree. It's actually a tree trunk right there, and then branches sticking out. Yeah, it's a tree house. Let me big tree find. It is a big tree house. And it's, it's really nice. It's warm. It's got everything you need.
Did they know that they was renting this treehouse to a famous YouTuber?
I don't think so. Did we lose our show?
I don't know.
Are we still here?
Oh, people still talking. But...
Oh, no, we're just way delayed. Let me click this button. There we go. All right. Everybody's still hanging in there. I think we're back on track. I think, yep, we got through all these. Oh, yeah, there's a beautiful 1952 Pontiac Chieftain 4-door with a 268 cubic inch straight 8 under that long, beautiful hood. All right, so everybody's still here. Ed, I wanted to grab something, and that's what made me pause for a moment. It wasn't just the internet. Ed has created a new channel, and it's called Hacked Up Garbage Garage. Oh, no, I just made up a new channel name. Sorry, I thought Ed did. Yeah, who's got Hacked Up Garbage Garage? We should start that.
I'm in.
I would subscribe to it. For sure.
Sounds like a combined channel, bro. Let's do it.
We could do it. I mean, we're getting popular enough. We almost need to have our own Pontiac Power Hour channel. But I kind of like how it bounces back and forth right now. Gets us some watch hours built up. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Dakota says it's already taken.
I'm not surprised. That is a pretty epic name.
Yep. I figured, honestly, Dakota probably has it already.
Doesn't he have like 5 channels?
Or 12, I don't know. Oh, no, Dakota said he was kidding. So it's still available. Hacked Up Garbage Garage, guys. That's the next big channel. Never even heard of it. So somebody make it. All right. So I just want to add again, if I missed anybody in the chat, I apologize. I see Mopars, Mustangs, Minivans is here. Mongrels is here all the way from Canada. Keep that snow up there. You know, it was 60 some degrees here at the beginning of the week, and now it's 30 degrees.
You know, it was colder in Vegas than it was in Missouri.
I do believe that. It is a bit of a desert.
There was a bunch of crap. I, went out there expecting it to be warm, but no. Had a thunderstorm, plane almost crashed. It was scary.
Yeah, we don't want to lose Ray to a plane crash. One more celebrity lost to a plane crash. We just can't do that.
Yeah.
Chucky, it gets easier, buddy. Really, it does. I promise you.
Yeah, it does. I have like 3 channels I manage, plus 2 different TikToks and Instagram.
I think that's really the big headache, is trying to manage all the social media besides YouTube. YouTube on its own is pretty time consuming. But when you add in the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the TikToks and the Snapchats, and just keeps going and going.
John, I am currently stuck at an airport in Dallas. So I'm at the DFW airport. And I must say, people keep walking by and looking at me like I'm completely nuts here. But little do they know that they just witnessed the epic Pontiac Power Hour being filmed.
Live.
Yeah.
Oh, school books. Yeah, don't go there. I've been there. It's actually a pretty neat museum. School book depository. Okay, so Chucky says Instagram, TikTok, not a big deal for him, but YouTube is time consuming. It can be, but I'll tell you what happens, Chucky, is once you kind of get really moving with YouTube, we'll work with you. We'll talk about creator content stuff. And John Wilburn has his creator content workshops. Eventually, you'll get to where your intro set up, your regular the body of your videos is already kind of established. So whenever you post a video, you don't have to go back and do a lot of work because a lot of it's already done for you. You just got to sit and do the work ahead of time. And then later, just kind of tweak it for each video. And, the thumbnails are the key. If you do a good video, decent editing, and a thumbnail, you're going to get people to be drawn in. But then you got to do a description. You got to have a good title. And all of that is easily built ahead of time. And then you just modify it for your video as you go. So it seems time consuming, but once you get it built, it's pretty smooth. Like we can do this from the road and be fairly good at it.
Trust me, Chucky, if I can do it, you can do it, because I am technologically challenged.
And I will tell you, I talked to Chucky on the, offline, and the guy has a lot of charisma, a lot of personality. He's got content. We just got to get him through these first little hurdles, and he'll be the next huge channel, no doubt, in my mind.
Iris said you got a castle on.
If you are a specific channel that likes to entertain by throwing wrenches and 4-letter words, then yes, you absolutely have to. But he's got the magic beeper that he can hit that button and beep it out. Perfectly timed every time.
I try really hard to not use cuss words on my channel. And I had Polo C4 and that Fiero guy on there. And Mr. C4 dropped the F-bomb every once in a while. And
I heard that.
I was like, long as it's not constant, it doesn't matter, I guess. But
Yeah.
I try really hard to not.
Yeah, and same with me. When the camera goes on, some of the more obscene stuff gets filtered a little bit. But I want to echo what John says. Don't try to make yourself look like the Vice Grip Garages or any of those. And the best example of that is go watch Dalton Pole Barn Garage. He does do some good editing, but he doesn't over edit. And he's creeping up past 60,000 subs right now. He spends all of his effort on the entertainment part of his channel. He does have some, here's how you do it kind of stuff. But a lot of that is, here's how you do it if you don't really care about the car. So I just want to throw it in there. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to have a big intro, outro, a lot of flair or fancy transitions. Just put out the content, make it good content, tag it right, headline. It's going to go smooth.
If you download Canva, you can build a nice intro on Canva. That's where I built mine. It's pretty cool. I mean, but
yep.
It just takes a little bit of time, and you got to think about what you want.
And Irish is correct. The biggest thing I've noticed, especially going to No Name Nationals and any other event where you meet your favorite YouTubers, be yourself on camera. Because if you are a character on camera, a specific way on camera that you are not in real life, you can have an exaggerated version on camera, what have you. Because Dalton, his camera version is a little, exaggerated. And I know the same for like Vice Grip Garage. But be yourself, because what you don't want is to meet your subscribers in the wild and you're a completely different dude than what they think you are. So be real, first and foremost. And plus, you don't ever have to pretend at that point. You're just being yourself. Bear Rose is right. If you got an intro, I'm telling you, if you can't draw people in with just what you're talking about on your video, the intro could just kill any desire for them to watch it. And with that, I'm going to do this. Okay, I did a little intro. Sorry. But I want to make sure we jump into this Pontiac trivia sponsored by Super Clean, because it's getting to that time where if we don't get through it, we're not going to get through it. And with our internet connections, it says my phone has no internet at all. Awesome. But you guys can still see me, hopefully.
The first question is A.
A? All right, let's see.
I don't even know what it is.
Danny Boyd says D. John just pouring out the wisdom. I got to tell you guys, if you're not subscribed to John Wilburn, get over there, give him a sub, hit the notification so you see when he's live. He does some random lives that you learn a lot of info. But most of all, not only do you find out what's going on with the No Name Nationals family and the event, but those content creator workshops are so vital as you're building your channel. All right, let's get into some trivia. Now, this one's for Hunter mainly. I want to test Hunter's knowledge. What did Pontiac name its straight 8 engine? This was that 1933 to 54. What did they call that engine? Look at that. Danny Boyd right out the gate. Cousin Mike with the Oakland. Nathan's Mopar Garage with the Big Chief. We got a lot of the Oaklands. Got some silver streaks. Got a Big Chief. You said it was A.
Yeah, I was wrong. I want to change my answer. You let everybody else do it. Hunter does it all the time.
Hunter gets out of a lot.
And I actually know this one, mainly because I read it earlier.
Oh, well, there you go then. Well, the correct
Go ahead.
answer is B, the Silver Streak. The straight 8 was dubbed the Silver Streak at the Pontiac division, powered by the 8 with the straight 8 engine. Pontiac was promoted as a likable automobile with enough power under the hood to get the job done in affordable luxury. And that's that quiet, low vibration engine they're talking about. Look at that. Irish actually has the badge in his toolbox. I want to see that. Bring that out one of these days.
Yeah, if you could post a picture of that somewhere, that would be awesome.
Now, Hunter says he doesn't technically change answers unless he accidentally does the wrong one. All right.
I think it's when he sees somebody answer the right question, he's like, oh, that guy's never wrong.
Oh, that's right. I accidentally made that one wrong. Okay, so next question. From 1935 to 1954, what 8-cylinder engine options were available? Well, we already know the answer to this one. If you guys don't know the answer to this one, I don't even know how this question got in here. I must have skipped it and threw it in there. Because we already talked about it.
It's C, right?
Yeah, it's the 400. Yeah, for sure. Now, we know what it is. It's the flathead straight 8. So we're just going to skip that one. I don't know how I left that one in. I apologize. I am on vacation. But here's what I'll tell you guys. I didn't think the scavenger hunt was going to work. I did a little scavenger hunt while I was driving from Kansas through Missouri into Arkansas. And I put out the video on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course YouTube that I hit some merch. And it wasn't one of you guys that found it. It was a gentleman who is a new subscriber. He found me on Instagram, scrolling through Instagram, found that short, and he goes, Joplin, Missouri, you say? And within 5 minutes, he sent me photos of him pulling that package out from where I hid it, because I knew where I put it, and that's where he sent the pictures from. So
you're lucky I wasn't home. I'd have had it.
Yeah, I figured, maybe one of you guys would have had it that I know is in Joplin, but in fact, I picked up a new subscriber. It is not a smart trick, but it worked. I'm not a very smart man. No, Chucky, actually, after I left Alaska, I don't hunt anything other than food from the grocery store. Ducks are better left in the pond. I'm not into it. All right. Next question. So in 1936, what was the horsepower rating for the Pontiac Straight 8? Is it 58 horse, a whopping 77 horse, 87 horsepower, or a phenomenal 103 horsepower? Yeah, I figured you had to, get out of school and then go get it. I don't know. I didn't know what your schedule was. Oh, look at this. A lot of C's. Wow, these guys are really into the C's. Nathan's got B. Jay says C. Or Danny Boyd says maybe D. He's kind of pulling a Hunter on me here.
Mr. Polo says B.
Yep.
Jason's Garage says C. When did he sneak in here?
I didn't see Jason sneak in, but I think he was here in the beginning, so he's going to say C. All right, let's see what it is, guys. It is C, 87 horse. Bore stroke, carburation, and compression ratio obviously increased over the lifetime of that straight edge engine, and displacement jumped from 248 or jumped to 248.9 cubic inch, not just in 36, but in 37. Oh, that Fiero guy's changing to C. He's pulling a Hunter on us. Right, it's a typo. Yeah.
Beautiful pair of headlights on that car. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, I love the grill. That beautiful.
Yeah, that thing is amazing.
Danny Boyd says not a definitive answer from me, but he stands by his original guest. And there you go. All right. Now, I specifically left it out of the history because I wanted to know what you guys really knew. But who was the brilliant? They called him brilliant. and you can almost not find anything about him on the internet. But who was this Pontiac engineer who designed the Pontiac Straight 8? Obviously, it could have been John DeLorean if he was still in diapers. Was it Ben Annabelle, Bunky Knudsen, or Pete Estes? Oh, look at this, going crazy. Yeah, Bear Rose, 7-to-1 compression ratio. I think it was as low as 6.5 at one point.
I think it was as low as 5 something. I thought I saw.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right, we got some C's, we got some B's. They're just kind of all over the place. Felix Wankel, wrong engine, buddy. That's a whole different. We're not even going to talk about that on this show.
That's the stupid triangle stuck in a circle. They can keep that thing.
The oil leaking engine. Look at that, Eric from Destroyer 1320 popping into the chat. Thanks for joining us, Eric.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Wow, so many good answers. Not all of them right. Danny Boyd is just not committed today. There you go. Jason's Garage got the answer. 5.7-to-1 compression is as low as it went. I knew it was pretty low.
I've had some small blocks
you could
up with that when they
crank start them. All right, so what's the answer? There he is. I found one of 2 pictures on the internet of this guy, Ben Annabelle. He came up with a 223.4 cubic inch engine producing 77 horsepower, which was 12 more than the Ford V8 at the time. Way to go. And he passed away at like 90 some years old. Very cool guy. And gas had no octane. Yeah, we got that. Let's see. And our next question. This one is specifically for Hunter. What was the concept car that Pontiac dropped the special straight 8 in for 1954? Now, this one's for Hunter. Hunter, I want to see your answer, buddy. Was it the Le Persain, the Bonneville, the Strata Chief? That's right. Or was it a Bonneville Special? I want to see those answers, guys. Look at that. We've got A and C. Irish Outlaw with a B. Nathan's Mopar Garage with a Strato Chief. Hunter says the Bonneville. Colleen says a Bonneville Special. Dakota's timeout. Yeah, I'm not even trying to say it again. I said it once. Mr. Polo C4 with a Bonneville. Mongrel's got a Strato Chief. Jason says a Bonneville Special. And Hunter's now changing his answer again from B to D. I don't know what we're going to do with this guy. You understand, Hunter, you are a character playing on the Pontiac Power Hour every week. Like, we couldn't do this show without Hunter. Someday he's going to be like in this box up here or maybe that box down there. I don't know. But you guys keep watching. If he makes it through the No Name 500, which I have no doubt he will, maybe he has a place in one of these boxes in the future. He actually has a car with a Pontiac engine in it, so we'll give him that. We all Googled it, Jay. Just who Googled it the fastest? Now everybody's changing over. Oh, we got a few C's. We got some D's. Everybody's kind of rolling through.
Looks like that.
But if you didn't, yeah, it is right. Cousin Mike is correct. It was the Tappy Tap. No, it wasn't. But you guys can join the Tappy Tap Club. I believe it's at $199 a month. It's not very expensive. It gets you all the little fancy little icons next to your name, and it helps me work on cars. And I appreciate everybody that joins in the membership. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot on my end, so I appreciate everybody. All right, let's see what the answer is. Boom! It is D, the Bonneville Special, where they could have put this brand new V8 that they were debuting into the car. Instead, they built this extra long nose on basically the Corvette platform of the time. But instead of being a roadster, it had a bubble top with winged windows that popped up. So you'd open your door and then the glass wing windows would pop up like a gull wing, like a DeLorean. Anyway, so this car debuted with that inline 8 right up front. It could have done a lot of different things, but you know what? Even though Oldsmobile and Buick and everyone else had their Corvette derivative, we all know what happened. Chevrolet just went, nope, squashed them all, and we ended up with the Corvette. That was the end of it.
Mr. Polo, that is cooler than a Corvette. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. I love this car. I also love the Pontiac Banshee that came later. That was an amazing concept car. We still have a whole episode of concept cars coming. We just haven't gotten there yet, but we have all year. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining in the chat. We had a lot of great communication, a lot of great answers. Look at that. We even had Cement Surfer join us. We appreciate you. And tonight, I feel like the unsung hero is going to be Mr. Polo C4. So if you want to send me a message with your address, we'll get you out a Super Clean prize pack. And we appreciate Super Clean for sponsoring us. And with that, Ray, thanks for joining in. We know you got a lot going on and you're sitting in an airport right now. But we want to wish you safe travels on your way home. And that way we can see you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to get out of here, guys. Yep. And we will catch you next Thursday at 8 p.m.